Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what's going on? It's your boy Choc, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys an in-depth breakdown on every single badge in NBA 2K. As you guys know, NBA 2K season is officially among us, and I want to make sure that when you guys get out there and you're ready to play, you don't waste any of your time messing around with the stupidity that I had to mess around with, okay? I've already tested all the badges, and I'm here to let you guys know what badges are good, what badges aren't, and which badges you should be equipping on your My Player when you're ready to go out there and rock it out. All I ask in return is that you guys do me a huge favor and smash that like button and sub to the channel for more. Guys, I've been uploading crazy NBA 2K23 content already, and it's only going to get better as the year goes on. So make sure that you guys smash that like button, sub to the channel for more, and without further ado, let's get right into this action, man. So as I said before, guys, we're gonna go ahead and break down each and every badge in the game, and I'm gonna let you guys know if it's viable or not, and if you guys should be putting it on your My Player. 2K is constantly changing things, changing the meta, changing how badges work, and I want to make sure that you guys have a very vast understanding of what badges you guys should be using. And we're going to start with the category that I believe took the most change, in that shooting. So as you guys can see right here, there's a lot of new names and a couple of familiar faces, but if you don't know any better, this stuff can all get kind of confusing. So we're going to go ahead and break it all down. In total, there's 16 different shooting badges to choose from, and you guys aren't going to want to waste any of your badge points on useless badges. So let's go ahead and talk about which ones you should be using and which ones you should not be using. And I'm going to go in alphabetical order, starting with Claymore, guys. Claymore, in my opinion, unless you are in the corner, is a useless badge. A lot of people thought Claymore was going to be really good because Claymore is a badge where if you're spotting up, you get a bonus. But the thing is, you have to be standing completely still in order to get any sort of kick and reward on it. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, if you're a hash shooter or a point guard, that badge is extremely useless. It may be a badge that you see viable in the corner, but I would not use it on any of my hash players. Clutch shooter isn't really that good either because it's only going to kick in late game situations or late clock situations. It's not worth wasting your badge points on a badge that you're not going to be able to use majority of the game. Along with comeback kit. Are you guys playing to lose or are you playing to win the game? You know what I mean? We play to win the game. So we're not going to put a badge on that only kicks in when we're down because we're preparing to beat everybody's beep. Corner specialist is always going to be a viable badge for anybody that's a corner spot up. So make sure that you guys throw that on if you are a corner player. And a new badge that's actually worth having. So let's go ahead and talk about Amp for a little bit. Amp is basically tireless scorer, okay? Obviously, that's not a new concept, but they did rework it, and I do like the way that it works. With how stamina is this year, you're gonna wanna go ahead and have Amped on your player. It kicks in low stamina situations, and it's definitely worth having. Catch and shoot an oldie but a goodie, put that on if you're a spot up player. Agent 3, now Agent 3 is basically for any pull-ups or any fades. You guys are definitely want to have that badge if you're a point guard, not if you're a spot up. Blinders, you already know that you need to have it. Guard up, now I'm going to be honest with you guys, guard up was a really good concept, but from what I've done in playing around, I really don't like the way that it works. It hardly ever kicks in, and if you're already open and they already didn't get a good contest, what do you need a badge that's going to give you a couple more points for when the shot contest is going to be open? Midi Magician is cool for those of you out there who want to be post faders. I mean, for shooting mid ranges, those are already easy to green, so you don't need that. But if you want to be a MJ type player, definitely a badge for you. Slippery off ball, you don't need it. Volume shooter is really, really good this year. It pops up on every single shot. Green machine is really good this year. Space creator for my guys out there who like snapping ankles, but I probably wouldn't put space creator on personally. Deadeye is solid, and then obviously limitless range is always really, really good. So to recap, these are the good shooting badges, guys, and outside of that, I wouldn't put any of the other ones on. I know the temptation when they add new things is to put it on. You're like, oh, I really want to run this badge because it's new. Do not waste your time, guys. Stick to these badges right here. Now let's go ahead and hop into the second most changed category, and that's playmaking. There's a lot of new additions to the playmaking badge category, and let's go over which ones you should be using and which ones just absolutely suck. And we'll start off with ankle breaker, guys. Ankle breaker is always a very, very solid badge, especially if you guys know how to snap ankles. You're going to want to go ahead and put that on. Break starter, don't need it. Dimer, you really don't need it. Shooting is relatively easy. If you guys are struggling to shoot, make sure that you watch my shooting video, and then you guys will see why your point guards do not need Dimer. Floor general is always good if you're playing with people that have low shooting overalls, but it does cost a lot to run it, so I would not run it unless you need to. Bailout is always nice to have on a low badge tier. I always get a lot of hate for my take on this one, but I'm just not a fan of hyperdrive, guys. I haven't been a fan since they've added it in. I don't think that you need a badge that's going to help you get down the floor. It's just not really necessary to me. Unless you're an ISO rim runner that's playing park, then maybe you'll want to use hyperdrive, but outside of that, I really don't see the use. Now, clamp breaker. This is a new badge and it is a must, and I mean must have badge. Clamp breaker is what's going to get you by your opponents, okay? Anybody that doesn't have clamps, and even if they do have clamps, if you're running clamp breaker, it's going to give you very, very clean blow by animations, and it's absolutely worth putting on. Handles for days is always a good one as well. You guys are going to want to have that, especially with how stamina comes to dribbling. You're going to need handles for days. If you have extra badge points, you always want to put on needle threader because it does make you guys throw more crisp passes that are harder to steal. Post playmaker, please don't waste your time. Special delivery, please don't waste your time. Vice grip is really just to get plucked off the rebound, so center should probably have that on, but your guards are not going to need that. Quick verse step though, you guys are going to need. You guys already know what that is. That's your ability to take off on your movements. You're going to want to have that on. Unpluckable, you definitely want to have on as well. Killer combos. Killer combos is like what Quick Chain was last year, so you guys are definitely going to need that as well. And then Mismatch Expert, literally useless. I know Mismatch Expert was God tier when it was a shooting badge, but it is not God tier as a playmaking badge. So do not waste your time putting that on. So like we did with shooting, let's do a quick recap for the good playmaking badges. You guys should be running ankle breaker, floor general, bailout on low, clamp breaker, handles for days, needle threader if you guys have the excess badge points, quick first step, unpluckable, and killer combos. Those are the best playmaking badges as we currently stand. Let's go ahead and defensive slide into the defensive badges, and there's a lot to touch on here. Let's go ahead and start off with Anchor, which is basically the Intimidator, but for the post. Anchor is definitely a good badge that you're going to need to have to stop the mashing, because as the game currently stands, mashing is a little bit OP. Will it stay like that? I don't know. Only time will tell. But for right now, you definitely want to make sure that your player has Anchor, or you're going to be getting absolutely mashed on. Please ignore that air ball. That was actually stunning. Box Out Beast is just a new way that they named box, so it's pretty much the same thing and it works the same. Brick Wall is obviously the exact same for setting screens. Chase Down Artist, I've always found to be overrated, but a lot of you guys find useful. So if you guys think that you need that, put it on. But for me personally, I will not be putting that on. Ankle braces are going to be good if they are needed, but we don't really know how OP ankle breakers are yet. I've been messing around with half ankle breaker and have not really gotten a lot of ankle breaker snaps. So I don't think that you guys need ankle braces yet. But if you're out there getting twerked on and you guys are, doing the Dougie and touching the floor, then you should probably throw ankle braces on. Menace is a good badge if they can get it to work. They did not get it to work last year, and I do not think that they're going to have it working this year, so it's probably not worth throwing on as we currently stand. Challenger is a new badge, and it's definitely a needed badge. It basically improves the contest, and I'm telling you guys right now, the contest system is kind of crazy. You just saw right there, that was open. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's kind of the same thing on the perimeter. Unless you guys are up in someone's grill, you're not really getting a lot of contests on these shots. So you're definitely going to want to run Challenger as high as you possibly can, so you guys can get those light contests that might cause your opponent to miss. Clamps, you guys already know, is your ability to stay in front of your opponent. That's always a really, really, really good badge. Off-ball pest always has and always will be pointless. Pogo is a good badge if you guys want to spam jump in the paint, which with how mashing is this year, you guys are probably going to go ahead and need Pogo. I know a lot of you guys are too prideful to put it on, but go ahead and put it on this year. Post lockdown will be a good badge considering how useful post hooks are. Post hooks are really, really, really OD right now, guys. Post hooks and post in general, and just the paint in general. So having that post lockdown will be good. You always need Rebound Chaser as a center. Obviously, you don't need it if you're like a guard or something, but it's obviously a really, really good defensive badge. Pick Dodger is good for if you're guarding ball, and you wouldn't need that if you're a center. So obviously, these badges are going to change which ones you need depending on your role on the team. Workhorse. Now, Workhorse, I don't really care for Workhorse. Workhorse is basically Hustler. I use it if I have excess points, but if you don't have excess points, you probably don't need to go ahead and throw it on. Now, Glove. Glove is a new addition to the game, but not really, because all Glove is Pickpocket with a new name. So don't get baited into thinking this is some new badge. Glove is literally Pickpocket, guys, and you guys know Pickpocket was effective and has always been effective. So make sure you throw Glove on, because that's the new version of Pickpocket. And then obviously, last but not least, we do have the Interceptor Badge, which is a must-have for any position on the floor. So to recap, as I said before, obviously some badges will apply to certain positions. Like if you're a lockdown, you're not going to need post-lockdown. But these are the good badges for defense. Anchor, Box Out Beast, Brick Wall, Challenger, Clamps. Pogo, Post Lockdown, Rebound Chaser, Pick Dodger, Interceptor, and then Workhorse if you guys have the excess badge points. Now, last but not least, let's go ahead and touch on finishing. Now, finishing is looking like it's gonna have a good year. All I've heard about this year is the hype around slashers, and all I've heard about is how, oh, slashers are back, this, that, and the third. And the way the game is playing, they very well could be. Obviously, a guy like me, I'm always gonna lean 3s over 2s, but for my slashers out there, you're in for a treat. So let's go ahead and touch on the badges. And let's go ahead and start that off with Aerial Wizard. Now, Aerial Wizard is basically helping you catch alley-oops. Now, I personally don't recommend running badges like this because the amount of alley-oop chances that you're going to get in a game are so low that, in my personal opinion, it's not worth running and wasting badge points on. If you are someone who really feels the need to run a badge like this, make sure that you're running it on an extremely low tier. That way you just have it on. Kind of like a Bailout, for example. Back Down Punisher. For my post players out there, my post scores, make sure that you have that on. Otherwise, Dream Shake, no. Please do not put Dream Shake on. Drop Stepper, again, is another really, really good badge for my post scores out there. Now, Giant Slayer. I go back and forth on Giant Slayer. For my shorter guards out there, my shorter slashers, obviously make sure you put it on. But if you're somebody who's like 6'10", Giant Slayer is not going to work for you. So don't even waste your time doing something like that. Masher is a really, really good badge, and it's a new badge for finishing in the paint. You don't necessarily need it though, but if you're somebody, like I said, who's a post scorer looking to get down and dirty, it's going to be a good badge for you. Post Spin Technician, it's really only there if you're a post scorer. Rise Up is a pretty solid badge. Fast Twitch is a really, really important badge. I'm very, very, very big on Fast Twitch. You guys are going to want to make sure that you go ahead and have that on regardless of what you're playing. Acrobat is pretty good this year. It seems like layup timing is somewhat important, although you guys know me, I don't really value layups. But for my slashers out there who are big time paint finishers, you're going to want to go ahead and have Acrobat. Pro Touch is good if you guys are running that layup timing and you guys are going to time your layups well. Bully. Now, Bully definitely needs to be on, guys. Bully is a really good addition. And for you guys out there who are making these big slashers with high strength, you are absolutely going to bully these players that don't have their strength up and aren't built for guarding you. Fearless Finisher, I'm not really a big Fearless Finisher guy. You guys always know that you need to have Posterizer on so you guys can get those fire contact dunks. Slithery Finisher is always really good to avoid contact, and then Limitless Takeoff is going to increase your range from how far you can dunk, so you're definitely going to want that on if you guys are looking to slash and mash. Finishing has a lot more good badges than useless badges, but these are the badges that I'd recommend the most, and that's Back Down Punisher, Drop Stepper, Giant Slayer, Masher, Post Spin Technician, Rise Up, Acrobat, Fast Twitch. Definitely want to have Bully on, Posterizer, and Limitless Takeoff. And that, my friends, is the end of today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you truly watched this video all the way through, you guys have a vast knowledge of every single badge in NBA 2K23. Hope that you guys enjoyed. Make sure that you smash that like button and sub to the channel for more, guys. As you guys can see, I'm uploading banger NBA 2K23 content. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and dominate your opponents, this is the channel to follow. I appreciate you guys for watching. And as always, it's your boy Choc. Stay tuned for more, and I'm out. Peace.